just kind of getting into it. But yeah, I mean, I like that just because it's like I can listen to it on my Bluetooth in my car, or if I'm in my office, I'll plug my headphones.
All right, we got 10 seconds.
All right.
Oh, what's going on? It is Crossover Radio. It is Radio with a Purpose, and this is your college football wrap-up right here tonight, presented to you by Grounds for Compassion. Grounds for Compassion is an amazing business that does ministry locally and around the globe. They do amazing, incredible craft roasted coffee, and you can get it all right here in Oklahoma City, or you can get it at g4c.coffee. And when you're searching that Crossover Radio app, when you're just hanging out listening to Crossover Radio, you can actually tap that Grounds for Compassion tile and order your coffee. Grounds for Compassion is coffee with conviction, and they support radio with a purpose. And tonight we have a very special Bedlam wrap-up of the Bedlam game that was this year. And for this, I went ahead and brought my boys on. So Evan and Dustin, you guys let me hop onto your show on Friday. And so figured I would return the favor this evening as we recap the Bedlam matchup. Evan, Dustin, how's it going, boys?
Hey, how's it going? Man, it is going well. I am pumped for this, obviously. We've talked a little bit about on the show. Evan and I are kind of some homers for OU, so obviously we're happy with the outcome as far as the score goes. But man, the game was wild. So
yes, absolutely, the game was insane. But it was it was a great one. I mean, as a college football fan, it was pretty incredible to watch.
Yeah, it's really been insane how close these games have been in the last, I don't say like 8 years. I mean, some of those scores may not reflect that, but I know just being, an OU fan and kind of really honing into this game the last 8 years that I've never had a comfortable moment until, some of those last few drives in the fourth quarter. So it's one that always gets my blood pressure up for sure.
Yeah, I didn't feel comfortable in this game until absolutely when Sherman ran in that very last touchdown at the very end. And there was about 40-some-odd seconds to go, but I was still in the back of my mind going, well, if OU does something dumb, because it hadn't been tackling all night, if they do something dumb and they allow a long touchdown, we got ourselves another game here. But at the Sermon touchdown run there at the very last, I just felt like, yeah, that kind of sealed it.
Yeah, no, it definitely sealed it, and but I tell you what, it lived up to the hype, and I was absolutely blown away with how good the game was itself. Tell me though, I just have to ask this as an SEC guy and a guy who kind of touts about playing good defense and those kinds of things. How did you guys feel about, especially you guys are obviously OU fans. I mean, there's no secret about that to our listeners. How did you guys feel about the defense on both sides of the ball tonight, or do you think it was just really explosive offense?
Evan, go ahead. I was going to let you go ahead. So here's what I will say. This is what I thought about while the game was going. I think what we saw tonight was that there is not much difference between these two teams as far as their abilities and what they can do. Now, do they have specialties that are different from one another? Sure they do. Do they have different things that they do well versus the other? Yeah. But as far as total overall team makeup and what a team can do, these teams are not far apart. And one of those things is whenever both of these defenses play against a really explosive offense, they just are going to struggle. They're just going to struggle. Now, their offense is going to make your defense look worse than what it probably normally is. But as far as these two teams, there's not a lot of difference. Now, that being said, neither of these teams are championship caliber. They're just not. I mean, they're not. I mean, am I saying that they can't, get hot 1 week in the college football playoff? Maybe, but I don't see them, being able to beat someone with their offense 2 weeks in a row to win a championship if and that's big if, but if one, and now I guess actually the only OU has the only shot out of the two teams now to make it to the college football playoff, they are not going to do it 2 weeks in a row. They're just not. You're not going to beat someone with just pure offense 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything that you said there, Evan. It is interesting looking at the two teams as far as what they do, because I mean, it really was like, it reminded me of the Texas Tech game last year, where it was just, I mean, score after score, and you were just hoping that one defense did anything to stop the other offense. But it is kind of interesting when you're looking at the way these two offenses are set up, and I kind of was noticing this in the game, that really Oklahoma State, I think, I mean, they are just the offense that goes out and Mason Rudolph is going to go sling that ball, and he's going to throw it deep. I mean, Justice Hill's going to be a little scat back out there for them. But, man, looking at Oklahoma's offense, I think it's pretty different, because I don't think, and I think all of college football really knows this, but Baker Mayfield can't be Mason Rudolph. He can't be the guy that goes out and I mean, just slings the ball downfield. And he had some great throws tonight. Don't get me wrong on that. I think he can make all the throws. But I'm just saying what Oklahoma State is doing is absolutely ridiculous, because I think a lot of what makes the Oklahoma offense so great is the mind behind it in Lincoln Riley. Because he is just attacking those defenses in several different ways. And if you're looking at Oklahoma State, man, they're just lining up, and they're just chunking the ball, and Mason Rudolph is going to put it on the money, and the receivers are going to outrun you, or go do a 15-yard out route, and he's going to put it right on the sideline and make it. I mean, it really was just ridiculous, because the talent on that offense to be able to just go out and run their plays and not really have any kind of just crazy game plan going into it. It just speaks volumes to the talent that they have in Stillwater on the offensive side of the ball.
So I have this.
So I thought that was wild.
I don't disagree with you that the mind on the OU side is a better offensive mind than Yurcich. I think anyone who's not high on something will say, yeah, I mean, Riley's a better offensive mind than Yurcich, and that Mason Rudolph obviously has to make it go. But, I mean, we're talking about Mayfield, who I think mentally is a lot stronger, a lot tougher than what we've seen out of Rudolph. And that's just looking at just pure,
one of those interceptions, though. I'm going to say this, and this is what the question that I was going to ask you guys. One of those interceptions, although he shouldn't have thrown it, that interception in the end zone, which really, when you look back, that is a big call. That call and either the incomplete pass or the catch with the fumble and the score. Obviously, it was called a catch and a fumble and a score, and then overturned on the field. That's one play everybody's talking about. But then the other one everybody's talking about is the interception in the back of the end zone on the 3-yard line. Everybody said, "Oh, they should have ran the ball. Why'd they throw it?" Here's the question I have: I don't think that they should have run the ball. I just don't understand why they didn't throw another fade to the corner and continue to take advantage of their size on the outside in those one-on-one matchups. They put that safety back in play when they brought the play back over the middle. If they had played it to the outside, the only guy out there is going to be that corner, and Aitman or Washington, either one, is big enough and bad enough that really it's never a 50-50 ball when you throw it up to those guys. It's legitimately like a 70-30, because those guys are so talented, and especially with Aitman, he's so big. I didn't even understand that play call. I feel like that was a play that they set him up to fail.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was an open all night. They were just absolutely destroying Jordan Thomas on that fade ball.
They exposed him tonight. They exposed him.
No, hold on. It's not just that they transfer. Everyone has exposed Jordan Thomas this year. Jordan Thomas. I don't want to take anything away from them, but Jordan Thomas has played like garbage for 90% of the year. Easy number, 90%, maybe more. And I know that it's really harsh. I'm sure that it's really tough. I get it. But I'm just saying that dude has been lit up all year long. He has not lived up to the hype that was Jordan Thomas. He has not lived up to his sophomore year, which is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the best year he had. He's played down since then.
Yeah. and I think there's just something, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's gone on with him, especially the last 2 years. But he is not the Jordan Thomas of the sophomore year, and he is just not playing well. I mean, I personally think the freshman that came in probably actually played a little bit tougher and a little bit better. Trey. I mean, he played a better game overall than what I thought Jordan Thomas did.
Well, and keep in mind.
Go ahead.
And keep in mind that he is a freshman coming in probably the biggest stage that they've been on all season long, and you expect some mistakes there. You expect Jordan Thomas to be a seasoned, wily veteran in that situation, and it's sad that they had to depend on a freshman who was actually ending up to be more reliable down the stretch, a kid who last year was taking snaps at a high school game.
So. Yeah, it was really. I mean, it just seemed like Norwell was just giving more effort too. Like,
yeah,
I just felt like I saw a defeated Jordan Thomas out there after the second touchdown.
Yes,
that was thrown in. Like, he didn't even look like he wanted to be out there at all. And so, I am a little excited about two of those freshmen, and obviously that's just from one game. But I have, on Twitter,
against one of the best receiving corps in the nation now.
Yeah, exactly, and there's just been some buzz for those two out of practice, so I look forward to see what they can do in the future. But like you guys said, I mean, to be able to come in on that type of stage, and that's what we were asking for in this game is literally just hold the team to a field goal, do something, stop them on third down. That's just the type of game this was, because I mean, it was just an absolutely offensive shootout. I mean, looking at the yards here, I think I have some of them pulled up. What is it? So, OU at halftime the yardage. If this was a full game, this would be what you would think. At halftime, OU had 466 yards. Oklahoma State had 391.
At the half.
Ridiculous.
All right. Hey, so real quick, guys, we're going to run to just a 2-minute break, and then we're going to come back and wrap up. Real quick, before we run to that break, though, I want to run you through some of the top 25 scores in the nation today to get you caught up in case you're listening from somewhere other than the great state of Oklahoma. Right now, LSU and Alabama playing. That ball game is in the fourth quarter late. Alabama leading 24-10. Virginia Tech and Miami playing right now late in the fourth quarter. Miami winning 28-10 in that matchup. Some of the surprises from the day. Obviously, Georgia, number one Georgia, to a lot of people's surprise, rolls against South Carolina 24-10, and Clemson survives North Carolina State 38-31 in a really close game. If you haven't heard, the Bedlam game 62-52 in favor of the University of Oklahoma. Also, the two shockers today. Michigan State beats Penn State 27-24, and Ohio State gets blasted by Iowa in Iowa today 55-24. TCU topping Texas 24-7, Wisconsin topping Indiana 45-17, Auburn 42-27 over Texas A&M, West Virginia over number 15 Iowa State 20-16, and last but never least, because I got to get it in, the University of Arkansas beats the Chanticleers from Coastal Carolina by 1 point late. We're going to be 39-38 in that game, which I thought they were going to lose. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We're going to wrap up with our final thoughts from Bedlam. This is Crossover Radio. This is the college football wrap-up. I'm hanging out with Evan and Dustin from 3rd and 1. We'll be back in a minute and 45 seconds. Don't go anywhere. All right, and we are out, but we are still live on YouTube. So YouTube people, you're still getting the backstage because I'm running it all off of one computer. So anyway, yeah, that's a disclaimer. That's a disclaimer for any bad words y'all want to say.
Yeah, here's a bonus content.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Do you guys see the NC State player that kept pulling Bryant's towel?
He was doing what?
So NC State played Clemson. And,
Right.
Number 9 on NC State went up and pulled like the QB towel from Kelly Bryant, their quarterback, like 3 or 4 times. And finally, he just kept taking it from him. And finally, the ref had to like come and tell him not to do that anymore. I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
Interesting fact: Arkansas has beat the last 2 teams in the last 2 weeks by only 1 point each. 39-38, 38-37.
I thought beating Ole Miss by 1 point was bad. Beating Coastal Carolina by 1 point in the final seconds is an absolute. Coastal Carolina is 1-7.
Isn't that the Dogs coach?
Not anymore. He got fired.
Not anymore.
Yeah. We got 10 seconds, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, man. You know what Arkansas needs, Evan? You know what they need?
What's that?
Need more dogs.
Need me more.
That's what puppies.
But yes, to answer your question, you asked me off air, backstage. The YouTube folks heard it. By the way, we're live on YouTube. Several of our shows have started going live on YouTube, and so you can check us out. Just the Crossover Radio. Search our channel there on YouTube, or you can find the links. I dropped a link on the Facebook page, so you can just follow it. Hit that subscribe and turn on those notifications for us. Every time we go live on YouTube, you'll be able to watch that. And we are live on YouTube this evening. But yes, who's his face? Who did that press conference is no longer the Chanticleer's head coach. He got fired. It's some new guy, and they have been absolutely abysmal this year. So the Arkansas State head coach this week, I said Arkansas State, made a shot and said, he was like, hey, for the first time in a long time, we're the best team in Arkansas. And which I thought was actually probably pretty accurate. But then on top of that, they beat Coastal Carolina like 55-17, and Arkansas had to eke out a win today. It's embarrassing, man. It's just turned into a train wreck. But let's finish up this Bedlam talk. We're gonna stay on for about 10 more minutes with you guys and finish up Bedlam. So what?
Wait, did you guys just see that?
What?
Oh my goodness! Hollywood Brown is still running. And no one's even close to him. Wow, sorry, I had to bring that up.
He ran all the way. He ran all the way back to Norman and didn't even get touched by the semis on the interstate.
Guys, this is so funny though, because Gus Johnson. So no one calls Marquise Brown Hollywood Brown, but Gus Johnson, the announcer, is just like absolutely in love with calling him Hollywood Brown. And like now, I think it's going to be a thing after this. Like he would just. I mean, there's one point he literally was just screaming at the top of his lungs. That was so funny.
I mean,
yeah. Oh, he killed it.
And OSU rolled out the red carpet themselves.
Yes. Dude, I'm telling you right now, though, that kid is lightning quick. Because when he went into 6th gear, he was toasting everybody. I mean, he was gone, and he's incredible.
Yeah, I think he's a guy that is a little different than D.D. Westbrook. I think they have the same like elite top end speed. I think Marquise Brown takes a little longer to get up to that speed, but I think his top end speed is faster than D.D.'s.
By the way, can I just ask you this question? So last year you had D.D. This year you have C.D. Next year are we going to get B.D.?
Probably, yeah, B.D.
Yeah, BD, whatever his last name's going to be. Anyway, I find that to be pretty interesting.
Call Marquise Brown.
BD Brown.
Yeah. And then after that, we get 80 back. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be a whole circle of life.
Oh wow! That's incredible. That is incredible. Anyway, but by the way, speaking of, you said Gus Johnson, right? The announcer for Fox.
Yes. I hate him.
I do too. That guy drives me absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Oh man.
He says so many stupid things too. Like,
yeah.
I can't remember what it was. He said something in the middle of the game And he was commenting on the other game. He was talking about a team, and they said, "Oh, it was a gutsy win." Like, any win's not a gutsy win?
Right.
Like, they're not going to be courageous and go win it? Like, doesn't make any sense. What do you mean a gutsy win?
Yeah, that's absolutely. Yeah.
It drives me insane when he just gets so excited about one play and just, like, starts screaming into the mic. Like, oh, my, that's what I was about. I mean, it's too much for me.
Yeah, you are no Al Michaels, sir. You need to calm down. Al Michaels is the truth. You are no Pat Summerall. Pat Summerall is the truth. You are doing midday games on Fox. Chill. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So,
and we can say that on our moderately successful radio station.
He's looking down at us saying, like, who the heck are you guys? So
he'll never hear this, probably. Actually.
Yeah, exactly.
So. No, but I think I think we are seeing something, because I mean CeeDee Lamb has been really, really good for them, but then now all of a sudden you've got Marquise Brown, who is absolutely incredible, and I think he reminds me a lot of Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, he's super reliable. I mean, he is a possession guy. I mean, he's become super reliable. I personally, I don't know how you feel, Dustin, I think I'm a little bit more excited to see that, because I love seeing speed almost more than anything else on the football field. I know some guys really love the athleticism, guys' ability to get up and jump and his length, and I think that CeeDee Lamb has all of that. But I personally am really excited to see just kind of what happens with Brown, just because of his ability to just turn it on and go.
Yeah, well, the two guys you mentioned right there are just absolute, complete complements of each other. I mean, CD is a guy that is the athletic ability to go up and get the ball is completely there, and I think he's going to be really, really good in the future. But yeah, as far as I think Marquise Brown, although he may not have the week to week, he's not going to have this 200-yard game every week, obviously, and he hasn't up to this point in the season. He's kind of come on a little bit lately and continued to progress. But, any of those little short screen games where he can get into the open field, that's super dangerous. And those two guys, I mean, Marquise is a sophomore, CD is a freshman, so you're going to be hearing about those guys, Norman, for a couple more years for sure. And they've got some big things that they're going to do, I think. So, and
Calcaterra showing up through the middle once Andrews is gone. I mean, Calcaterra is going to continue to give defenses problems too. They're not going to be able to, basically let a linebacker sit back and help out with Brown coming across on a slot on a slant, just because you're going to have Calcaterra to account for. So it's going to be pretty.
Yeah. Just real quick.
They've got. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to go ahead and get a text in real quick. Get a text. I think this is DLC all the way from Houston. He said, man, what a game. And says howdy to you guys. Man, we appreciate you texting in. And everybody's welcome to text in 405-494-0234. And you can text us. You can get your thoughts in. Usually I take callers, but the call line is most assuredly taken tonight. But let me ask you guys this question. I want to wrap up with real quickly. And Dustin, I know you were finishing a thought. So if you want to finish that thought and then answer this question, is Oklahoma now with the Iowa State loss? Do you think that they're in the driver's seat again to win the Big 12? Also, do you think it's a team that could get into the college football playoff and make a run, or do you think that this defense is still a major exposure?
I'll start us off here. I think they are in the driver's seat to win the Big 12. I think as long as Baker Mayfield is the quarterback there and Lincoln Riley is calling the plays, that he can will the team to getting some wins in the Big 12. Now, as far as getting into the playoff, I think they kind of control their own destiny because they have, this game is going to be good on their resume. They still have TCU left. They still have West Virginia left. So as long as they continue to win, I think they could make it into the playoff. Now, as far as getting in, and honestly, week to week, there are no guaranteed wins for this team because it's Baker Mayfield and that offense having to go out and completely make up for the absolute lack of ability by their defense. And so with that, if he can continue to do that, I mean, I don't know how you look at this guy and not say that he is the absolute favorite to win the Heisman right now because he's had to carry this team the whole season. Looking at the defensive performance and there just hasn't been a ton of complimentary football from the other side. So I don't see them. I'm with Evan. I think they could get lucky, sure, if the defense shows up. And usually, like I've said this time and time again, that Mike Stoops tends to play better against like SEC style of offenses.
Sure.
But for some reason and this is terrible because he plays in the Big 12. But
right.
For some reason he does poorly with mobile quarterbacks or with spread offenses. And so you saw last year that they went and played Auburn, who didn't have the most electrifying offense, but they were still the second best team in the SEC last year. And so typically he does decently against SEC defenses compared to the Big 12 offenses. But obviously also you see the offense kind of take a smaller step back against the styles of defense as well. So the game's still pretty comparable as far as the outcomes and scores. But yeah, I don't have too much. I don't have a lot of confidence in this team going forward until that defense can show some life.
Evan, what do you got?
Yeah. Well, for me, a lot of that. I definitely resonate as well. But so here's what I want. They are in the driver's seat. At the very least for the conference, they play TCU next week for basically ownership and the ability to go to the playoff out of anyone else in the Big 12. No one else is going to make it in. Whoever wins that game is going to control their destiny. And here's why. Right now, the top four teams, two teams, actually, sorry, how do I want to phrase this? Two teams are from one conference, two teams are from another conference. So you have all four teams coming from two conferences. That's because, for all those who don't realize, although Notre Dame still plays and is considered a non-conference team, they technically have kind of aligned with the ACC, like halfway, in only a way that only Notre Dame could do because they're terrible human beings. But that's just a side note. But as far as how that all is going to work out, Notre Dame plays Miami next week. Both of them are going to be undefeated.
Yeah.
Miami will be undefeated. And then Clemson is also in that same conference. So it's going to wind up working out to where Clemson, Notre Dame, and Miami are all going to cancel each other out to where there's one standing, and one will get in. I still am under the persuasion that Georgia and Alabama are going to go to their conference championship game undefeated,
right?
And they're going to play. And I think, honestly, both of them deserve to be in.
Yeah.
So I'm just counting both of them in, along with Clemson. Then at that point, it's between Big 12 and Big 10. The only one that could throw a wrench and would keep the Big 12 out of it, if Big 12 has a one-loss winner, is Wisconsin. Because Wisconsin is the only team left standing right now in that conference. Everyone else has two losses. It ain't going to happen.
Well, and
no one else is going to make it out.
Yeah, and I think honestly, at the end of the day, and you guys know this is not Homer speak coming from me, but honestly, I think Oklahoma's resume is a lot more impressive. And so, especially with as good as the Big 12 has ended up being this year. I mean, here a few weeks ago, we were making fun of Oklahoma for losing to Iowa State. Now you're talking about a team that's like, wait a minute, we're looking around and they're competing, and we're like, wow, this is actually a top 25 school, And so
we're looking at the team that beat Ohio State in Iowa, and Iowa State played Iowa, and they lost by 1 point. And so even back then, we're like, how did that happen? But then Iowa goes
now we know
and beats Ohio State. And that's another thing that just adds to Iowa State's resume, that they played up with this Iowa team that went out and beat up. So it's kind of crazy how that team is.
The best thing for Oklahoma is for Iowa State to continue to play well, because it softens the blow to that loss. And and as long as Ohio State continues to play well, which I know they took a loss today, but as long as they at least stay in some kind of conversation of the top 25, I think their their CFP hopes are dashed with 2 losses, but as long as they continue to play well and at least be a contender, so to speak, I think that just continues to tout Oklahoma's record and make them look better. But anyway, man, it's been good, guys. Any last thoughts? Any final thoughts before we sign off here?
Boomer Sooner.
Hey, that's right, baby.
All right, guys, man. Thanks so much for hanging out.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.
See you. Bye.
All right, and that was your episode of the College Football Wrap-Up right here on Crossover Radio. It is radio with a purpose. So glad you guys joined me today. Glad that my guys Evan and Dustin from 3rd and 1 joined me today. For Evan and Dustin, I'm Coach, and we will see you next Saturday on the College Football Wrap-Up right here on Crossover Radio, presented to you by Grounds for Compassion. Coffee with conviction, supporting radio with a purpose. I love you. God loves you. Have a great weekend. Go to church tomorrow because it's a lot more important than college football. All right, we're out.